shit. You know what? I hit the button and the timer started and I hit the shit out of my arm. Okay. Anyway, y'all, welcome back. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what time it is. I feel like I always start my videos off by being like, welcome back, and then I laugh into my hands. Like, I need to stop. But it's always funny because I always come on here and tell y'all the most, like, batshit stories. So, like, I'm ready to get into it. I really am. I'm ready to dive into the Lord today and to give y'all a little bit more about me. Now, you're probably wondering, Rylan, why did you clickbait? Why are you clickbaiting again? No, this is not clickbait, okay? The police do hate me, and I want to get into it. Okay, so first things first, I have lived in a very interesting life, okay? I have lived a very interesting life. I've seen a lot of things, but look, it all started, okay, when I was 16, right before I got my car. Me and my best friend went to the football game because, you know, like homecoming football game, we're not going to watch the football game, we're going to walk around and talk shit. So we did. So me and my best friend are walking around the football game, we're having a blast until we see something out of the corner of our eye. Okay? So for everyone, you know, who's watching right now, y'all know what's about to go down. Okay, so basically, me and my best friend had looked to the right, and there was this girl standing there who we were beefing with, like actively beefing with, okay? So she had just dropped out of school. She had said a lot of horrible things about my best friend online. Not to mention, she like kept running her mouth to my best friend, but in person, she was acting all scared. So my best friend is like walking up to go confront her, and she just like darts, like she runs, and we kind of don't see her for a minute. Let me tell y'all, she came back with the police, okay? And she was like a bad crackhead. So we had literally beefed with this girl. She had threatened us through text messages and online. She had dropped out because of how bad this beef was getting. Not to mention, Miss Girl was on meth. Like, it was not a secret. Like, this is what happened, okay? So, let me be the judge of this. This girl was sitting here with known drug addicts, okay? And we're in this game. We're having fun. Me and my best friend are talking. We walk up to her. She runs off. And, the second I turn around and I look away, and she's standing there with the group of drug addicts, okay? And I'm not even kidding, like, one of them is literally in prison now, okay? One of them is literally in prison. Basically, they said that we were harassing them, that we were being awful to them, and the police officers literally took one look at us because at the time, I had just gotten my piercing done, my best friend had a bunch of piercings, we looked like we were up to no good, I guess. And, like, he got rid of us. See, and from here on, this is, like, where things just keep going downhill, okay? So, 2 months later, I get my license, okay? The first, like, year of me having my license was amazing, okay? I literally felt so free, like, I could go anywhere I wanted, and, like, it was just chill, you know what I mean? Like, I had no problems. Now, a month after the year that I had my car, I got pulled over. So, my parents live an hour away, as like everyone who has been watching me for a minute on here knows. I have been, they live an hour away. I like lost all track of thought. So, they moved a good hour away a little bit ago, and basically I was on my way home, like down here from their house. So I was driving back from their house, and I was going through this little town that like literally has a gas station, like a Brookshire Brothers, maybe a Sonic and a Dairy Queen, and some like mom and pop shops, and that's it, okay? So I'm driving through this like very rural country Texas town, of course. Like I'm like, I need to get out of here, okay? I'm going 45, okay? And I get pulled over. I see the lights flashing behind me, and I swear I swear, I literally panicked. I just panicked and I pulled over. So I'm literally now in the Family Dollar parking lot, okay? The Family Dollar parking lot. The man walks up to my window. Okay, so he, the officer walks up there. He's like, and he takes one good look at me and he goes, "You better keep your hands on the," he goes, "I'm officer da 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 of da 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 da," and he goes, "You need to keep your hands on the wheel. I need your license and I need your registration now." And I said, "Yes, sir." Like, there was no "Hi, how are you?" There was no nothing. It was, "I'm officer this. Give me your shit. Don't take your hands off the wheel." I had my license in my hand. I don't have a picture or any kind of thing for my insurance because my parents have it and they just have never printed it and I just have never printed it. I mean, I guess I could, but like they can pull it up when you get pulled over and I just don't see the point of having it in your car. It's not allowed to have it in your car, so at least in the state of Texas. Don't take my advice anywhere else, okay? Anywho, so he was like mad aggressive and was just sitting here and like, "Okay, you know how fast you were going?" And I was like, "Yes, sir, I was going 45. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not from around here." And he basically told me to shut up. He basically said that even if I'm not from around here, I need to pay attention to road signs, which this town was severely lacking. And that it was so true. Like, the speed limit signs are literally so crazy there. And not to mention there was tons of speed traps. Like, there was no way I was not getting pulled over. Let's be real. But yeah, and he was like, "Do you know how fast he's like, and you, basically he told me I wasn't going 45, I was going 55, which is crazy because I had 45 literally on cruise control because I thought the speed limit was 45. Lo and behold, it was 35. Wasn't a school zone or anything like that. Apparently it had changed and whatever else. But anyway, this cop is just being really aggressive with me. I'm literally the first time ever getting pulled over. I'm really tired. It's like 7 a.m. I want to cry. Like, people literally can see me. Like, where the Family Dollar is, there's a pharmacy next to it. So people were like, Family Dollar wasn't open yet, but the pharmacy was literally open and like everyone could see what was happening. And I was just beside myself. I was beside myself. He was so aggressive. He was so mean. Like, I don't even know. And then when I went to go pay the ticket, the judge was even worse. So I think it was just something there. I think it was homophobia, if we're being honest. But, However, I think she did not get reelected in this election. So at least that went my way. Oh, isn't that awful? Isn't that awful? Which, this was like the second time in a year that a cop was awful to me. So I just really had a bad taste in my mouth already. And he was so... Like, I am 5'9" and 110 pounds, and I'm by myself. What am I going to do to you? Like, what do you think is going to happen here? Not to mention, this man was like a good 50 years old. Like, I was literally 17 at the time. Like, now that I'm older and my brain is like developing or whatever, I'm like, I would never, like, even as a cop, like, no matter what, I would not pull over a 17-year-old and act like that. Like, that was absolutely insane. It was very scary. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's giving... Have y'all seen that clip on TikTok where it's like, "I'm recording this for my safety. Put the phone down." No, sir. I'm recording for my safety. That's what that was giving, okay? But my second ticket, let me tell you guys this. A few months later, I got a second ticket, okay? So... basically, I used to work at a tanning salon, right? I used to be a manager, so basically, anytime, like, my girls called out and they couldn't find anyone else to fill it, I would have to go in. Like, even if it caused overtime, like, I would have to fill it, okay? So, there was this time, I had worked, like, 3 weekends in a row because one of the girls had, like, requested off, one had asked me for a weekend off, and I was just, I took more days off during the week because I was doing stuff, and it just, like, fell that way. And I used to hate working weekends. Like, now I work every weekend because I get more, like, you know what I mean? But back then I hated working weekends. Like, weekends were slow. It just took up my day. Like, it was just awful. But, so one time it was like 8 a.m., maybe 9 a.m. The store opened at 10. I had a call basically saying that I have to go in. And at that time, my parents were here. We were all together under the same roof. And I literally woke up to these people calling me to my throat. Just swollen, hurting. Like, I woke up with strep. I knew I woke up with strep. I'm the type of person who never gets sick. And if I do, I get strep at least once a year. Then I take some amoxicillin and I'm better. I don't go to the doctor. A lot of times we have amoxicillin here. It's very easy to get. But I had just woken up. I didn't have time to look for any. It was just a horrible, horrible situation. One of my girls was basically not showing up. So I, at the time, worked 20 minutes away, and I had to drive 20 minutes away at 9 a.m. to go fill this shift. I was so mad. I didn't feel good. Like, I should have not been going. I was trying to find someone to fill it, like, later on, which you're not supposed to do. We got with that job, like if you worked a Saturday, it was 10 to 5 only. Like, there was no other shift. And I was trying to find someone to take the shift. Nobody would. Like, I was going to be stuck there all day. Y'all, I drove the whole 20 minutes. And I got to the store, and as soon as I parked, the girl that was supposed to work literally opened. Like, she was there ready to go. Like, as soon as I pulled in, she pulled in too. Like, I was so mad. I looked at her and she was like, why are you here? And I was like, I thought you called out. Like, what's going on? And she's like, no, like, I made it. And I was like, I was so mad. She later became a really big op of mine, honestly, but we'll get over that. Anyway, so I was on my way back. So I went and I got a tea real quick. Like, the tea shop that I normally go to is closed. I went to a secondary tea shop, which was absolutely horrible. Like, I did not like it at all. They didn't even, like, mix my drink all the way. Like, and I understand, like, if you're busy, there was nobody in there. My drink was not mixed in any kind of way. There wasn't enough, like, fluids in there. It was wild. I had to, like, fix it when I get home. Anyway, and that's, like, a $7, like, tea. So I think that people need to understand why I'm so pissed about that. But anyway, I'm on my way home, and I literally get all the way home, and I notice there is a cop on there's like a 4-way where I live, and there's a cop on every single 4-way. And I'm like, mother. So I had to get gas, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get gas, and then I'm going to be sick for the next few days, so I'm just going to chill. So I go by the cop, I pull around, and I go to get gas. Now, here's the thing. My registration at the time was expired by like a little over a month, which is past your grace period. Didn't think I would get pulled over for it, honestly. I have so many people in my family who have had their registration expired so much. Like, it's eventually, there's a law starting in 2025. You don't need it. So it's not like, you know what I mean? I was just like breaking the law. This man, okay, mind you, strep, had to go to work when I didn't have to. I was all dressed. I had to get all ready. I didn't feel good. I was ready to get gas and go home. I literally pull into the gas station to start pumping my gas, and I look at the mirror and I see a police officer pulling me over. And I was like, what in the actual hell? I was pissed. I was pissed. So he walks up, and he was kind of cute. Like, he was kind of cute and gave me the same treatment, bro. Like, he was like, hi, I'm officer so. Hope you're having a great day. Your registration's expired. Why is it expired? And at the time, I was a 17-year-old kid. Like, I didn't know where I had to go to get it Yeah, and you know what? It was the same treatment. It really was. Like, it was this, that, okay, let me go run your stuff. And while he was running my stuff and I was sitting there, I literally started bawling. I started bawling my eyes out, crying. I'm talking crocodile tears. And I was so mad. Like, he was so rude to me. It was just awful. And then on top of that, a female police officer pulls up. Like, she was getting gas right next to it. And she's like, oh, you got another one, didn't you, Bobby? And I start crying harder. They walk up to my window. And he's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I have strep throat. I wouldn't even be out here if this girl didn't call out, didn't go to work. I called him out. I called my worker out. Like, I was going through it, girl. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. Hands me a fucking ticket. And I was like, okay. Snatched the ticket, threw it into my passenger. And I was like, thank you. I'll get it fixed. you have my license plate. Like, he knew I was a 17-year-old kid who didn't know. Like, there's 4 tax offices. 4. I didn't know which one to go to. Like, I didn't know which one was best. I always remember those places being busy. I'm very antisocial. I went to school at the time. It's not like I could just go Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. My parents lived an hour away. My grandparents work all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was trying. And I told him that, and he just didn't care. And it was just so mean. Like, you know what I mean? And I get it. It's whatever. He's doing his job. But, like, it's just the lack of sympathy for me. It's not even the lack of sympathy. It's really more the lack of, like, caring. Like, oh, like, he's obviously having a bad morning. He's obviously sick. He's obviously this. Girl, give me a warning. Like, what? Give me a warning. Give me a warning. Give me a warning. Give me a warning. Oh, and my 3rd ticket is literally even worse. My 3rd ticket is literally even worse. Let me get into it, y'all. So my 3rd ticket might actually be my worst ticket to date. So I've kind of gotten into this a few times on this channel. I really don't dare to go near it. Because I think that it would change a lot of people's opinion about me, even though it wasn't my fault. But however, in February of this year, so I was 18. Yeah, I was still 18. So yeah, at this point, I have gotten a ticket at 17 twice, and I got a ticket at 18. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Rylan, you just can't drive at this point. However, to be fair, I have a lot of friends who, at that point, who had been driving longer than me, had twice as many tickets as me, and twice as many as wrecks. So, y'all can say what y'all want, but I don't know how people go on this earth without getting a ticket, okay? I can't seem to avoid them. So, February of this year, I had went, like, at least a good little while before getting a ticket. Like, I think my last one was literally early 2023, so it had been, like, about a year. I had been good, kept up, everything great, but I was driving down the road and essentially something happened. I'm not going to get into it. Don't ask for it because I'm not going to get into it ever. It's something that I'm bringing with me and that I'm never going to put on the internet. And maybe one day in 10 years I might, who knows, but for now, no. And let me just say it was not my fault. It was not my fault at all. So basically this incident had happened and the cops came up to me and were asking me a bunch of questions. So this first cop was really, really hot. I think I've told this story on this channel before. Y'all might remember it. But, yeah, he was super, super hot. Like, I'm super hot. And he was talking to me, and we were having a good old time. We were having a delicious time, you know what I mean? And then this other cop comes over and takes over. And I'm like, yo, like, this one's cute too. Like, let's see what happens. This man was the worst man I ever dealt with, okay? He had act like I was there, and I'm talking hired by somebody. I don't know. So he starts, like, immediately questioning me, and I tell him the exact same story I had told the cops because that's what happened, you know what I mean? Like, if it was, like, a bank robbery and I had did it, I mean, maybe I'd be a little bit more frazzled. But no, I literally gave the exact same story. And on top of that, in the case now, because I've actually seen everything, even though it's closed, because it was not my fault, it wasn't my fault. Like, it really was, like, nothing about this was my fault. Like, it was a little, it was a little wreck, but it wasn't my fault. And he just was questioning me, and then was basically trying to say that I was a liar. And even my friends were, like, looking at him like, dude, we literally already talked to the other cop. So at this point, my friends are literally telling the cop, like, hey, it's not our fault. Like, this is what happened. Like, gave him the exact same story I did. And the first cop comes over, and he's like, hey, man, like, just leave them alone. Like, they're fine. And the guy walks away, and I was like, yeah, like, thank you. And he was like, yeah, like, I don't know why he does that. Like, we're not a good cop and bad coping you. It's not that. And I was like, slay. So this man literally came. He helped me look at my car, make sure that it was good to drive. He was so sweet, so helpful. He made sure that me and my friends were going to be able to get home safely. All while the second officer was writing me a ticket because allegedly I was going 10 miles over the speed limit. Let me also say they had just started construction on this area and dropped the speed limit to 35. and I had basically got onto the road right before that new sign went up. Okay, there's now a new sign a little farther down where I was at, because this happened. So I told him, I said, look, like, I pulled out before the sign. Like, how is this my fault? Like, I didn't know. Anyway, he gave me a ticket for speeding. The other guy got the ticket for the wreck. It was wild. I had to go to this huge town, get this ticket paid. By the way, when you go to, like, my courthouse, I can just walk in and we're fine. The courthouse I had to go to, I couldn't have my phone. I couldn't have I couldn't even have anything. The only thing I could have on me was my wallet. So I literally walked in there, got patted down, by the way, and walked in there, paid it. We were good. That one I think was my least favorite ticket because it was in a bigger city. So like it was a difficult moment. It was a difficult moment to get it paid because that's a lot. Like, bigger cities have bigger courthouses, and it makes for more anxiety. And so for my final thing tonight, I want to say that this is probably the only time that I've had a good interaction with a cop. So basically the other day, or it was like a month or two ago, I was driving home. And by the way, last summer, right before that one incident happened, or after that incident happened, I got my registration done. It expired again this year just because I had gotten in that wreck and it had messed up my car, and I just have never gotten it fixed to be able to pass for my new registration. So this this cop is driving behind me, right? I'm doing the speed limit, like I don't think anything's wrong. And then the lights come on, okay? Which is how it always happens, okay? So he pulls me over and he goes, hi, how are you today? Like, I'm officer so. And I was like, oh, hi, I'm Rylan. Thank you. Like, you're so nice. Like, yada, yada, yada. And we were kind of chatting it up a little bit. And he was like, do you know why I pulled you over today? And I was like, honestly, officer, I don't. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. He's like, your back tail light isn't illuminating. And I was like, oh, like, I'm sorry, I did not know. Like, I really did not know, okay? I seriously did not know that was happening, you know? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. He was like, your registration's also out. And then I told him the story, the whole, like, truth of the story of the wreck, not what I gave y'all. And this man was like, oh, okay, like, let me go run your stuff. He goes and runs my stuff. By the way, he was a younger guy. He was kind of cute. Like, I kind of wished he would ask for my number, but, like, that's besides the point. Anywho, he basically came back with a written warning. Okay, my first warning. First and only. And he was like, yeah, just make sure you get it fixed. Like, I know that you're probably having some car problems because of, the wreck, but just get it all fixed. You're fine. Period. However, I later did find out that my taillight does illuminate. There was nothing wrong with it. I don't know. Maybe if he just didn't see it because it was, bright light outside. And on top of that, yeah, that was really it. I mean, it was really cool. Like, great interaction. Loved him. He was super, super nice. I told him, I was like, man, I actually want to get this fixed now. But I hope this kind of, like, opens the door of people talking about police officers. And I think that we need to really be watching. I think police officers, first of all, they should be nicer to civilians. Like, if I'm actively causing a problem, fine. But pulling me over for speeding and then trying to act like I'm some kind of criminal is absolutely crazy. Not to mention, like, at this point in my life, I pay taxes. Like, I started paying taxes when I was 17, by the way, because I started working. But anyway, for everyone out there, please be careful. Please be safe, especially around police officers. Not all police officers are bad, but there is that little 20 to 30% that are. And I hope that everybody's thriving. I hope everybody's amazing. I've really missed this, and I'm happy to be back. So make sure to follow me on all of my different socials. And you can also stream my music with the link down in my description. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I love you all.